What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So I have been delaying this project for a while now, and most of you guys know is because I had no space in the other garage. And now you can see we have our new shop. So little by little, I'm getting back to the old projects that we've been working on, including this carbon fiber stuff, as you can tell. But yeah, let's see where we're at. All right, you guys, so a lot of you guys have been commenting and loving the carbon fiber steering wheel, and I appreciate the hell out of you guys for showing love and interest. So I'm not sure where we left off last video. This should be the last remaining part because I did not touch the steering wheel ever since. But this is the process of it. This is how we're looking. Everything is nice and smooth. Now I did put the steering wheel in the car and I did run it for like a month or two. So I did smoothen it out so I don't get any sharpness poking me. But we still have resin drips. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand all that out right now, and we're gonna get ready for other layers of epoxy. So as you guys remember, if you guys didn't watch the other video, go watch that. It's a few months back actually. Well, either way. So the whole steering wheel and everything is covered in carbon, forged carbon. The only thing that we're doing right now is just covering in resin right now. We're building it up so we can get the smoothest out of it. So I was having issues with resin drip because the way that I was doing this was I would set it up like this and I'll pour the epoxy, and epoxy likes to, obviously run like water. So this steering wheel, the reason it has those drips like that is because I had it facing up like this when I did the top layer of resin. So I'm gonna try something else this time. Basically, I'm gonna keep the steering wheel moving while the resin dries. So if we come over here to the welding table, shop's a mess because I'm really busy right now. But this is a positioner that I had made. So this I use for welding when I do like V-bands and stuff, just so get a nice consistent weld. So what I'm planning on actually doing is putting the steering wheel on here and having it rotate while the resin dries. So it's perfect that in the back of the steering wheel it has this lump. It might be a little challenging because it is tapered, but I can just put like a nut and bolt through it and then clamp that down. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna sand out these bumps, these resin drips. I'm gonna get it nice and smooth, cleaned up and everything, and get ready for the next process of carbon. I've been busy with the other couple of things with carbon. I was doing a YouTube video on these, but I kind of forgot to record some processes, so you guys would actually be able to see it here. This is the third layer of resin. So basically all I'm doing is building it up. Let me see if I can get nice and close for you guys. It's real hard to capture the forged carbon on camera, but hopefully it's doing justice. The light reflects off of it. And then this is the air conditioning vent. This is for driver's side left, on the left side of the steering wheel. This is the dome, upper dome. This is where you'll have like your sunroof opening, and then your airbag light, and you'll have your dome lights here. So just trying to be different, forged carbon everything. And last video I did show you guys that I was in the process of doing the E90 air duct delete, and here's the process. I just removed the vacuum bag. So still, it's my first time doing a vacuum bag forged, so it's pretty hard because I'm missing the edges and everything, so I really have nothing to pry this mold off of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wet this out with some resin, pour some more flakes on there so I can get a nice good grip, so I can put a flat screwdriver and pry this mold out. So first time doing it, hopefully it works out pretty well. I know it's not gonna be the best because I didn't do a vacuum infusion. I just did a wet layup and I just did a vacuum bag process to clamp everything down. But other than that, let's get this bad boy sanded and let's finally get started on the steering wheel again. guys. So we have the whole steering wheel standing down. All the resin drops, the teardrops, whatever you want to call them, they're all out. Surface is completely flat, so now you can see we have some imperfections. And the reason that you have that is because, if you guys remember from last videos, you have to keep building up the resin. So we are going to be doing maybe 2 or 3 layers of resin buildup. So like I said, we're going to try something different this time. I have it tied up to the positioner. So the way the positioner works is there's a solid shaft in there that I machined on a lathe, and then I made a copper braided wire and I wrapped it around it. They are soldered and then they are welded onto the actual frame itself, bolted down, and that creates tension onto the shaft. And then it's a reduction gearbox. And then I have a DC speed controller to control the DC motor, and then it's powered by a Milwaukee M12. And then it has a potentiometer here so I can adjust the speed. Right now I'm going to set it at 100. And since it's a step down gearbox, it's not going to be that fast. Because, you know, for welding, you don't want to be super quick. I usually weld like around 47, but this is 100. So that's gonna, what this is gonna do, hopefully you guys can hear me, but what this is gonna do is, while the resin is drying, it's not gonna allow enough time for the resin to just drop on one side, like what it was doing when the steering wheel was facing upside down. When the resin was curing, it creates all those drops. So with the steering wheel constantly moving, it's gonna allow the resin to dry evenly. So that's the plan. I decided to get some cardboard, put it on the floor so I don't get resin on my floor, and then we'll start applying some resin. All right, you guys, it's time for coat number 2. All right, you guys, so we have about 3 layers of epoxy on this already. I already went ahead and I wet sanded everything. I sanded it down so it's nice and smooth. I don't want to bore you guys with the whole process. I want to keep this video as short as possible. I know the last one was about a little over an hour long. So anyways, it's all completely sanded smooth. I just had to let it dry because when carbon fiber, when you wet it, it looks super clear. So I can't tell where any spots I've missed, any low spots. So you have to wait till it dries out and it turns all foggy like this, because the shiny spots are the spots that you missed. So that tells me I have to sand a little bit there, nothing much. But I wanted to show you guys too the other piece, how it fits. It's not gonna sit on there 100% because you guys can see the bolt studs, they're being covered. Here's one, but the other one's covered, and the one down there is kind of peeking through. So this can't fully sit down flush, which is actually our next step right now. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use my die grinder with a carbide bit. I'm gonna start shaving away at this real slowly. I don't want to take away too much material and then I have a gap on the edge. I want it nice and tight. So I'm gonna start shaving away this real nice and slowly. I'm gonna counter this so it matches the curvature of that, which is, you know, pretty much there. So I can go ahead and just eat all that out and you won't see it. In the back of the steering wheel as well, I'm gonna look for my seam line. So now it's gonna be a pain in the ass process right now. This is something you wanna take your time on, because I don't know where that seam line is at. You know, this is all covered in forged carbon. It's black and there is blue tape underneath it, but the black carbon won't allow you to see it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start shaving away at this little by little until I start seeing that seam line. What I mean by the seam line is where this leather is separated from the leather that was originally on the steering wheel. You're gonna see a seam line here and on both edges as well. You wanna take your time. Once we find that seam line, I'm gonna head and cut. I'm gonna rip this piece of carbon off, rip that piece of carbon off, rip that off as well. I'm gonna grab some sandpaper. I'm gonna try to smoothen out that edge. You don't want a sharp edge because when your hands are gripping the steering wheel, like this when you're driving, that's where your fingers are resting. It's gonna be that seam line. So it's gonna be, you know, a little uncomfortable if you have a hump. So you wanna make sure that's a smooth transition. So we're gonna go ahead, put you on time lapse, grab the die grinder, and we're gonna start shaving some material away.
Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's undefined, want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's undefined, want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark.
Alright, you guys, so everything is nicely trimmed out now. Ooh, how'd that get there? We'll talk about that in a second. But everything's trimmed out. Everything's lined up with the leather lines. And I touched up the little spots I needed to sand. The other spots are just too deep, but you can't really feel it. So the steering wheel's good enough to my likings. It's not, you know, like a professional, but this is homemade. Just having fun with it. So now I just gotta wipe her down with some alcohol, get rid of all the oils and everything, and she's ready for clear coat. So this time, I've learned my lesson. Don't use the cheap AutoZone clear coat. That stuff is not UV protecting. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's yellowish. It's not too bad, but I don't want that. So we're gonna be going with a little bit higher quality clear coat. I do wanna learn how to start using the spray gun so I can spray automotive clear coat, but for now this is gonna do. So we're gonna be using Spray Max 2K Clear. So this is a 2-part clear. It has a hardener inside. So you wanna shake this up really good, and this red cap, you're gonna remove that, put it at the bottom, and you're gonna crack the hardener. There's basically another can inside. So once you crack that, you wanna shake this up really good, and that's gonna give you your automotive type clear coat. And it's UV protecting as well, I believe. I couldn't find anything online if this is UV protectant, but I assume so. I know I've used this thing in the past. It's just very expensive. AutoZone clear coat you can get for like $10. This can is $25 to $30, but it's 100% worth it. So if I were you, if you're going to use one of these, I would have multiple projects going on. So luckily for us, we do. So we have these two pieces are going to get clear coated as well. And I showed you guys the mold for the headlight. And here's the actual final product. So this is going to get wet sanded, get rid of any imperfections, and this is also going to get clear coated. So that one can should be able to take care of all of these projects. So another thing about this can is it's not like a regular spray can where you shake it, you can use it whenever you want. This is good for 24 hours depending on the weather. It's pretty warm out, so I would say maybe a day. So as soon as you crack that hardener inside, shake this up, you're good for 24 hours. After that, this is garbage because you have that hardener inside, and the paint, it's going to dry and harden a lot faster once it's sprayed, but inside the can it is going to take a little bit longer, so you do have some time to use this, but I'd say 24 hours. So we're going to shake that up. We're going to set this up. We're probably going to hang it on a piece of rope or something, and we'll put it outside so we don't get any overspray or anything. Another thing, this is fucking poisonous, so wear a respirator, don't wear a mask. Alright, you guys, so we have the whole steering wheel sanded down. We have the center leather piece, everything taped off. As you guys can see, it's all taped off around the edge so the carbon gets the clear coat. I messed up a little bit there, but you can't feel it. In the front, we're not too worried about getting clear coat on the inside because it does get covered, but the whole steering wheel sanded nice and smooth. And then we also have our other pieces of carbon, everything sanded down, ready to clear coat, because like I said, once you crack open one of these cans, it's only good for 24 hours. So one can that steering wheel is not going to take an entire can. So I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to clear coat a whole bunch of things at the same time. So let's get this out in the sun. Let's get it nice and warm, clean it down with alcohol, and let's get ready to clear. All right, you guys, we have our parts out in the sun right now. They're baking. Getting my clear coat ready. So you're going to remove the top red cap that's on top of the cap. You're gonna put it at the bottom. You're gonna smash it open, which we already did. Now you're gonna want to shake this for a good maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Shake it really good, make sure everything's mixed up, and we can start clear coating. All right, you guys, all mixed up. Let's test the spray. So wind's blowing this way, so I'm gonna come over this way, and we're just gonna do a light coat. update time. So this is about 4 or 5 coats later. So she has a nice thick wet coat. All the carbon pieces, everything is nicely clear coated, and hopefully the camera is doing justice because forged carbon is kind of hard to capture on camera. But this is what you guys want to see. So I've had it sitting in the sun for about 5 hours now. So she should be fully cured. I kind of missed math, if you want to say that. So I ended up using 2 cans for all these parts. So I would say 1 can is enough to do the entire steering wheel. $25 to $32 for a can, not bad. It'll be a lot cheaper if I'm going to do a lot more carbon fiber in the future to actually get a spray gun and some paint. But she's looking lovely. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unwrap it, get it all cleaned up, and then we're going to install it in the Beamer. All right, you guys, she's finally in the car, finally complete. So the sun is giving it a yellow effect, but that's not the case. It's just the sun is literally right on the steering wheel. But she's on, all the trims are on, everything lines up beautifully, airbag and everything's back on, buttons, paddles, everything's on as it should be. So now got to finish up all the other stuff that I'm doing. Forged carbon, centerpiece, just finished doing this piece as well. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the process. Forged carbon, everything, remember. So steering wheel, beauty trim, dash, center bezel, shifter cover, whatever you want to call that. Next I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that in forged, a bunch of stuff. So appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this process. I know it's been a while since, I know it's been a long time since I brought out part 2 for you guys, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it shows you guys what you guys were looking for. But I don't know what to say. I enjoyed the process of carbon. It does take a very long time. This is something, you know, you're willing to let the car sit for a while, or it's just pieces that you don't necessarily need. Fortunately for me, it's a steering wheel, so I need that to drive. But yeah, that's it. So we're still gonna finish up the rest of the car, and then hopefully in the future I'll give you guys a walk around with the car and everything is forged carbon. But other than that, appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, send this to your buddies looking for carbon fiber work, and see you guys on the next one. Be safe.